أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من شر الوسواس. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من شر الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد، والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الميامين المنتجبين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد وردت في رواية أن الإمام الصادق عليه السلام قال في زيارة الأربعين، فقال لصفوان ابن مهران الجمال: تزور عند ارتفاع النهار وتقول: السلام على ولي الله وحبيبه، السلام على خليل الله ونجيبه، السلام على صفي الله وابن صفيه، السلام على الحسين المظلوم الشهيد، السلام على أسير الكربات وقتيل العبرات. صدق الإمام عليه السلام. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Inshallah, today, today it is the miraculous day, the day of the greatest miracle of our century, and that is the Arbaeen, Ziarat of Arbaeen. The reason I'm saying it's the greatest miracle of our time, we don't see any miracle in Islamic community or among the Muslims besides the Quran. That's one of the greatest miracles of Islam, which is still living around the earth, and people are embracing Islam just by listening to the Quran, pondering into the Quran. And then also the miracle is the Ahlul Bayt, Kitab Allah wa Itrati Ahlul Bayt. So Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam are miracles, have miraculous abilities by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the one who gave them, so that it is not kufr, it is not shirk, the way Allah gave Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Prophet Musa alayhi salam, the power of the stick, the power of bringing back to life, the power of healing. All these things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He gives Prophet Isa alayhi salatu salam, there is no problem in Him giving to Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu salam. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is that proven or not? Yes, to us, according to the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu salam, it is proven that the miraculous abilities were there with Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu salam, and miracles were presented by them to the community members of that time. And we have hundreds of narrations. They reach the level of tawatur. They go beyond the tawatur that prove that Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu salam had the ability to perform the miracles by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is no more ghulu, because we are gluing the ability to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So being Ahlul Bayt, a miracle of this time, a very specific miracle is Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. Not Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, but the ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. People, they go to visit Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. They get what they want. Now, the philosophies might differ. Some say we go to Imam Hussein, we ask him, Ya wajihan indallah, ishfa' lana indallah. O Imam Hussein, the way Prophet Yaqub's children, Prophet Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam's children, they ask Prophet Yaqub, Father, ishfa' lana, in our words that ask Allah to forgive us. So Prophet Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, Prophet Musa's followers, so that these, they ask the creation of God, who is closest to God in their time, for the sake of the forgiveness or hajat or whatever. Prophet Musa's people, they had hajat. Oh Musa, we are thirsty. Oh Musa, we are hungry. Oh Musa, these are hajat, physical hajat. Okay. And Musa alayhi salatu asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Musa, just strike your stick and this and that. So basically, Imam Hussein is part and parcel of the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of Anbiya and Imams alayhi salatu wasalam, similar to Asif bin Barkhia, the one who brought the throne of Bilqis from Yemen to Palestine in a blink of an eye, or less than the blink of an eye. So Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam is the miracle of every time, from the time before before he was martyred, maybe when he was child. We have incidences that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam through Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam was able to cure certain the certain people were cured because of the Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. I don't want to go into detail, but there are so many incidences that Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, after the birth and on the day of martyrdom and after the day of martyrdom until today, his door is open. People, they get the Prophet Isa said that people, they say, why didn't Aimma? They say that come to us, we'll or anything in the Quran. When Asif bin Barkhia said that I will bring to you the throne of Bilqis in less than blink of an eye. So he said, he made his offer. So when Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam makes his offer and provides himself, that advertises himself, he said, I bring people back to life with the permission of Allah. I cure incurable disease with the permission of Allah. I heal the blind with the permission of Allah. What is he trying to say? Come to me. I'm the gate of Allah. I'm the door of Allah. I can help you. I can take you towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the true monotheism. So do we need after Islam? Yes, because after Islam, people, they left Ahlul Bayt. The true monotheism was messed up. Like people, they started worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way. He has body, he has hand, he has this. So Ahlul Bayt's existence was important. Their attraction was important. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Ahlul Bayt these abilities. So people would come to Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, and through Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, they would know how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala properly. So in all these miracles and this Imam Hussein and the Ziarat of Imam Hussein, everything, the aim is only one aim, that come to Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, so that they can teach you how to worship Allah, the true and the proper worship, and to have the proper recognition, ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the main target of everything we do in the school of Ahlul Bayt. The target should be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that is the target Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam aimed at. That is the target our Aimma alayhi salam aimed. Nahjul Balagh is packed with that target, the true pure monotheism of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wahdaniyat and that monotheistic direction. Without Ahlul Bayt, you cannot get it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept this, say, baits. Okay, so people will come to Imam Hussein, and Imam Hussein will teach them how to worship Allah and how to have the ma'rifat of Allah purely. So this is a miracle. There's a reason behind this miracle. People, they say, why do you go to Imam Hussein, do dua? But the main purpose is to communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even the hadith which I mentioned, which we are going to discuss today, that's going to be our topic today, because you guys are Hausa students. So we are going to tackle the sanad of the Ziarat of Arbaeen from the Hausawi aspect, from the Rijal aspect and the content aspect. And hopefully the time is sufficient for us to go through it. So when I look at the walk of Arbaeen, I mean, I will show you the Ziyarat of Arbaeen. It will not take 5 minutes if you recite it fast. And if you recite it with ponderly and slowly, it will take only 10 minutes. Like 10 minutes of Ziyarat. And the whole world is falling apart, and from different parts of the world, everybody's trying all their best, missing their flights, rebooking their flights, missing their hotels, overbooking their hotels, and all these crises they're going through. And then many of them, they walk for this ziyarat. What is the big deal about it? The whole big deal about is Allah wants you to show you the importance of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. And why, ya Allah? Because Imam Hussein alayhi salam will show you the importance of bonding with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and giving up everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, compromising everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the whole name of the game, or let's say we don't want to use the word game, like the whole thing behind this is that importance of Imam Hussein. So what did Imam Hussein do? He was purely bonded with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we need to learn from him that bonding. And then he opposed the oppression and the dhulm, and he gave up not only his life as a sacrifice, his beloved ones, his precious children, his family, they were taken in captivity and they were tortured. All this Arbaeen grieving was all the suffering of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, until they came back to Karbala, and from Karbala to Medina. So this is the whole idea. So now let's start our topic today. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. So the whole idea is about the Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam and his the ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. There are two aspects of the ziyarat we need to tackle. Aspect number one is the issue of what? The issue of the walk. The people, they have problem with the walk. I don't know why. Baba, there are ahadith mentioning that whoever walks to his mu'min brother will get this much reward. So if you walk to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, what's the problem with that? I mean, if ignorant people who are ignorant in the community have not studied Hausa, okay, there will be no problem, because they are excused. They don't have a background of Hausa. But unfortunately, those who claim that they have Hausa background, the reason I say claim, because they have not grasped the Hausa. They might have studied 10 years, 5 years, whatsoever years, but they went inside the Hausa. They came out as they went in. They went in as ignorance. They came out not as ignorance. Okay, they came out having complex ignorance, compound ignorance. So they entered the Hausa with Jahl to learn. They came out with Jahl Murakkab. And Jahl Murakkab means somebody who ignores a thing and ignores that he ignores. Somebody who doesn't know, and he doesn't know that he doesn't know, and he insists on his stubbornness that I know, I studied Hausa, and these type of people, you will find them, they come out and they try to gain some popularity, and they just want to gain some kind of prestige in front of the people by throwing some issues which they think they might fool the people. But luckily, alhamdulillah, people are born with Hausa, with Maraja, the true Hausawi people, the true Hausawi pioneers. So these kind of things, the compound ignorant people, when they try to bring these doubts against the ziyarat and ziyarat of Imam Hussein and the walk and all those kind of things, they don't have any background of Hausa. I can say it with bluntly, and I said it to those people, that you guys don't have any background. Why? If you are ignorant, that's fine, but you are claiming the seat of knowledge. You're claiming that you know Quran, you know everything, and yet you are denying that you are ignorant. So today we are going to present a Hausawi discussion on two things: walk of Arbaeen and the ziyarat of Arbaeen itself. People, they mock the walk. Oh, what is this walk? Where did you bring this walk? Okay, there are research done about the walk of Arbaeen. I'm just going to share you the screen of Sayyid Munir al-Khabbaz, not Sayyid Munir al-Khabbaz, the brother of Sayyid Munir al-Khabbaz. Okay, let me just share the screen so that you are aware about that the knowledge which is from true Hausawi scholars. You can sense the depth of what they, since you're Hausawi students, and then it is nice that we share the page of Sayyid Munir Khabbaz's brother. And this is the one where, okay, this is the page of Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Sistani. We're going to discuss this also. And Yes. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Aw salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. So Sayyid Munir Khabbaz, but let me share you the other screen. I showed you accidentally the wrong screen. So the brother of Sayyid Munir Khabbaz, his name is Sayyid Diya al-Khabbaz. And as you know, Sayyid Munir Khabbaz is an Ayatollah, a student of Sayyid Sistani, not just a mere student. He's the giant student of Ayatollah Sistani, and we know him long time ago when we were youth and we started Hausa education. So we know how advanced he was from most of our aged Hausa students, and he really is above our levels, mashallah. So he has a lot of depth. So his brother, Sayyid Diya al-Khabbas, look at the walking. Because these things, they pop up nowhere. So in 2018, and this is a research done, not somebody speaking out of nowhere. No, look at the references. Everything he has said has references. So he says, first of all, about the walking. The walking is not for Imam Hussein alayhi salam recommended. It is recommended for all the Ma'sumin alayhi salatu salam based on the narrations. And Imam Hussein alayhi salatu salam is one of the Ma'sumins, where Sayyid Munir al-Khabbaz, his brother, mentions there are 17 narrations. 17 narrations, not one, two. So there's a tawatur here. Why there's a tawatur? Because to spread something about Imam Hussein alayhi salatu salam, at certain times it was dangerous on the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu salam. So whenever there's a taqiyya surrounding and there's a fear, and you get 17 narration out of that fear, then that is a very strong aspect of tawatur. So in that environment, in that strict environments, our Aimmas alayhi salatu salam, they mentioned the importance of visiting Imam Hussein by walking. So all these are then, and then we have the scholars who considered walking to Imam Hussein alayhi salatu salam is highly recommended and preferred, like Sayyid al-Khubaini, Sayyid al-Golpaigani, Sayyid Sabzawari, Sayyid al-Sistani. Sayyid al-Khuy Quddasisr was practically walking to, he has an image, a photo taken while he was walking to Karbala. So it's not something new. Before Saddam, it was normal. But Sayyid Munir al-Khabbaz mentioned, not Sayyid Diya, Sayyid Munir al-Khabbaz as a lecture also, he mentions that suddenly this explosion happened. How? When Saddam's fall happened, people, they came out in millions. So Sayyid Munir says, many people say, oh, advertisement of Hausa. There was no advertisement of Hausa. There was no advertisement of Hausa. That, oh, we did not say here, say this Sistani Damadullah or Sayyid Muhammad Said, please walk for Arbaeen, go for Arbaeen, walk, walk, walk. No, there was no something like that. The practice which was, and this is one of the miraculous aspects, for 30 years of the oppression of Saddam Hussein and banning of the walking of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu salam, that there was a pause time. People would walk secretly, but when officially they would be in trouble. And after that, after the fall of Saddam, suddenly this explosion of millions of people walking to Ziarat of Arbaeen, where did this come from? It was paused for a long time, and it was piling up like that volcano. And it was piling up. And once Saddam fell down and people, they felt that kind of freedom to go back and visit Imam Hussein and the Arbaeen walk of, and the first, because Saddam's fall happened after Ashura. So the first freedom they got, the Iraqi mu'mineen, to visit Imam Hussein was immediately after the fall of Saddam of a couple of weeks. And that was the massive procession of Arbaeen. You will not find any Maraja say, Mu'mineen, it is very important that you revive the walk of Arbaeen. Nothing. Who did that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can there be coordination between millions of people without any media, without any direction of Maraja? It is there. It is Allah who's doing these kind of things. And Allah has a plan to prepare for the arrival of Imam Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. Because if Imam appears in Ashura, on the day of Ashura, as it mentioned in the narrations, until he reaches Iraq, there's a time. Until all the mu'mineen reach Iraq, it seems that it would be the day of Arbaeen. So Allah is automatically preparing for his divine planning, and without many people as awareness. The only people they walk for Arbaeen, they don't think that they are going to training themselves to prepare for the Imam's arrival. They are not thinking like that. When they are walking for the love of Imam Hussein. Yabna Rasulullah, you called Hal min Nasirin Yansuruna. No one came to your support. We are here, Labbaika ya Hussein. All what you hear is Labbaika ya Hussein. They're saying we promise you, whenever you call us, we'll be there for you. So their mind doesn't have Imam Zamana. Their mind has Imam Hussein alayhi salam. We are coming to you. You called us. You called Hal min Nasirin Yansuruna. We are coming to us. So they go by plane, by walking, by car, whatever means they want to be there. So therefore, our maraja, the top maraja, not those people who claim themselves they're maraja and or mujtahideen and come out from anywhere, and Ayatollah Tom and Ayatollah Dick and Ayatollah Harry and all those kind of Tom we are seeing here from East Africa and from UK and everywhere. The people pop up and start giving fatwas, and we have this genuine source of school of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. They are doing like satanic things without their knowledge. I'm giving them benefit of doubt. May Allah guide them. They don't know that they are promoting satanism by preventing people from the Ziarat of Arbaeen alayhi salatu or walk of Arbaeen even. Why? Because when you walk for Imam Hussein, there's a love of Ahlul Bayt. That's the manifestation of قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. You're expressing your love, and that's in the Quran. And the ayat of Mawadda can have so many manifestations. And this is one of the manifestations. Let's say there's no riwayat, there's no nothing. Guy goes there for the love of Imam Hussein. Are you Mr. Satan? You want to stop that love? That means what's the difference between you and Bani Umayyah? If you're doing this out of ignorance. Because those people who give like these fatwas, they're either what? Either ignorance, then learn. Or compound ignorance. They don't know, they don't want to realize that they're ignorance. They know that they don't know, and they don't know that they don't know. This Jahl Murakkab. Or they are somehow working with the enemies of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, because enemies of Ahlul Bayt, they know the power of Arbaeen. It's the power of Imam Hussein. It's the power of Ahlul Bayt. It's the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they don't want this power to continue. So this is the third scenario. We said we give them benefit of doubt, and we say these are ignorance or compound ignorance. But the third could be that they are the agents of the enemies of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, who want to stop the dhikr of Ahlul Bayt, like Yazid tried to, but he could not do that. So they are if they are not intentionally supporting Yazid, so they are indirectly supporters of Yazid. Finish. So these are ABC. Either you accept your ignorance, so correct your ignorance. Either you don't accept, and you're compound ignorant. And the third possibility, we wish that it is not inside you. So you saw that so many hadith of Mashi was there. I'll just mention a few hadith of Mashi, and then we will move to the sanad of the Ziyarat of Arbaeen. So as we can see here, there's so many narrations about the walk. Now let's see the walk. What in general, we said walking to the mu'min pleases Allah. Walking to the masjid pleases Allah. So the shrine of Imam Hussein and the Aimma are masajid. These are mosques, and not our ulamas. They say, no, these are cemeteries. Yes, they were cemetery. But when you build a masjid and made the waqf of masjid, finish, it becomes masjid. To convert a place to masjid, it doesn't need rocket science. It's just a matter of declaring or making the covenant of waqf. Finish. So these are masajid. These are masajid where we have hadith that whoever walks to the masjid, he will get 10 deeds reward, and 10 sins will be erased. So khalas, if you don't have all these hadith, the piles of hadith which are mentioned about Imam Hussein's Mashi, this would have been sufficient. If nothing was there, our Imams alayhi salatu wasalam, they went, some of the Imams, they went Hajj walking. Okay, but that is Hajj. Yes, remember, so that is a rewardable act. And this is also a rewardable act. You're doing qiyas of Imam Abu Hanifa. Who said this is qiyas of Imam Abu Hanifa? Qiyas of Abu Hanifa is without any text, without any hadith. That this kind of qiyas, which is supported by text, I'm going to give you my text. So first of all, the Hajj, it is everyone, Sunni, Shia, they all say it is recommended to walk if you're able to walk and if you're able to survive that walk without any harm or difficulty and hardship. Okay, then where is it, Imam Hussein? The manat is one. There, we have received narrations which indicate visiting of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu Islam is more rewardable than the recommended Hajj. Not wajib, recommended. And we respect our Sunni fellows. We can agree to disagree. But this is what we got from Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu Islam. Because if you visit Kaaba, which is stones, holy stones, then Imam Hussein is holy appointed personality chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sacrifice everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the beloved one of Allah, Habibur Rasul, Habibullah. He is the beloved one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in the narrations, the mu'min's dignity is more important than the Kaaba. The narrations mention that if whoever visits Imam Hussein will get this many Hajj, this many Umrah, this many Hajj. So I'm not doing Qiyas, I have Manat. And this is called Qiyas al-Awlawiyya. So if Hajj is recommended and Ziarat of Imam, recommended Hajj I'm talking, not Wajib Hajj. And the recommended Ziarat is recommended and the recommendation of Ziarat is higher than the recommendation of Hajj. That means if you walk to Hajj, walking to Ziarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu is higher reward. And this is not the Qiyas of Imam Abu Hanifa. This is Qiyas wal Mansus bi'illah. There is Nas here. And there is Qiyas al-Awlawiyya. The Qiyas, this is analogy of priority. If Kaaba, visiting Kaaba is recommended, if visiting Imam Hussein, you get the reward of visiting Kaaba. So that means if you go to Kaaba walking, you get reward. You get twice reward if you walk to Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. If you're a Hawzawi student, you will understand this. It's a simple, it's called Qiyas al-Awlawiyya, from the basis of priority. Anyhow, let's try to, so there is no problem in walking to Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. And this walk to Imam Hussein, I mean, why don't you say, when people, they do processions in for the against the government or against this or against the rallies, why don't you say this bid'ah? Why when people, they come to Imam Hussein walking after, let's say these all narrations were not there and all these al-Awlawiyya was not there and specific 17 narrations of walking and the reward of walking were not there, then let's say that all the processions of protest are accepted in the intellectual society and supported by the school of Ahlul Bayt and by Islam because they are protesting against oppression. Our walk to Imam Hussein alayhi salam is showing the whole world that we are protesting against the oppression and terrorism and terrorists. So either you are with terrorists or against terrorists. If you're against terrorists, you are not going to stop our walk, because we are walking, protesting against the terrorism which started from Yazid, not just that, which started from before Yazid, and it is continuing until the day of judgment against the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam and against the people of the world. These explosions are the Husseini people. They don't explode themselves. They don't blow the people. They don't kill innocent people. This is not the Husseini method. That is what the people of the world, they need to understand. Hussein is a man of peace. Yes, defends justice. And without justice, you can never have peace. So this is something about the walk in summary. Now let's come to our main topic, which is the Ziarat of Arbaeen itself. Now, Ziarat of Arbaeen itself, let me just share you the screen. Ayatollah al-Udma Sayyid Ali Sistani has sons. One of the sons is Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Sistani. Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Sistani, his Ayatollah, is very highly knowledgeable, and he's the right hand of Sayyid Sistani Damadullah. So Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Sistani This is the page where they have kept the research of Sayyid Muhammad Sistani, Brother Sistani, may Allah bless him. Now, I want the Hausa students to focus on this, okay? Because we are going to do Ilm al-Rijal in, okay? Non-Hausa students, if you can't understand, tolerate and learn Ilm al-Rijal. And that is why we said that these kind of researches are heavy-duty researches. Because you guys are Hausa students, I'm presenting. If I was sitting in the member, I wouldn't present this because public cannot understand these kind of terminologies and these kind of deep researches, okay? So that's why I say this is done. It says, don't put the mullahs and maulanas, don't put the heavy duty stuff on the public because public cannot understand. And those Ayatollah Tom and Ayatollah Dick and Ayatollah Harris or Ayatollah Shaitan, I can tell them, they sit in the pulpit and they show the muscles and they show that they are knowledgeable. Baba, what these people, they know, they have not studied Ilm al-Rijal, they have not studied Ilm al-Usul, they have not studied anything. I'm talking to the students who have studied Ilm al-Rijal. Let's check the sanad of Ziarat al-Arbaeen analyzed by one of the top Hausa students, which is son of Ayatollah Sistani, not because he's son of Ayatollah Sistani, other mujtahideen, they're praising the knowledge and the depth of the knowledge of Ayatollah Sayyid Muhammad Ridha al-Sistani Damadullah. So this is what he mentions, sanad of Ziarat al-Arbaeen. So he mentions that Sheikh al-Tusi, Quddasa Sirru, he mentions in it Tahdhib. Tahdhib is one of the 4 books of Shia school of thought. Not everything is sahih in it. That's why we are discussing this hadith is sahih or not, but sanad wise. So whenever we check the hadith, we have to check the sanad, the link, the narrators, and we have to check the content of it. So pay attention here. Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Hafidhullah says that in Tahdhib, Sheikh al-Tusi says, Akhbarana Jama'ah. This Jama'ah is a group of narrators which Sheikh al-Tusi relies upon. An Abi Muhammad Harun ibn Musa ibn Ahmed At-Tal-Akbari. Okay? قال حدثنا محمد ibn Ali ibn Muammar. Count with me the narrators. We are going to go through the narrators. Because people are arguing, oh, sanad of Ziarat of Arbaeen is not authentic. We don't need to authenticate the sanad, by the way. Ziarat and du'as, the content is enough. But for the sake of the argument, for the Hausa students, let's check the sanad. Sayyid Muhammad Ridha has given us the sanad. If it was not there, that's fine. The content of Ziarat of Arbaeen is perfectly matching in line with the Quran. حدثنا محمد بن علي بن معمر قال حدثني أبو الحسن علي بن محمد بن مسعدة والحسن بن علي بن فضال عن سعدان بن مسلم عن صفوان بن مهران الجمال. These are the narrators, they end. So we have a good chunk of narrators. So hadith is not mursal, it's not unlinked, it is linked properly. But who are in this link? That's what our session is. قال لي مولاي الصادق. Safwan, the rent-a-camel guy. In previous sessions, if you have attended my sessions, you know that Safwan al-Jamal, he had camels, a rent-a-camel service, and he used to rent his camel to Harun al-Rashid. So Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salatu wasalam, because he lived in the time of Imam al-Sadiq and Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salatu wasalam. So Imam al-Kadhim had an argument, and at the end he sold. Now it's a very nice argument, okay? Either you refer to some of my sessions before or you try to find out by yourself, but this is not here because Safwan is one of those authenticated narrators who are the companions of Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, Sadiq and Kadhim alayhi salatu wasalam. So he said that قال لي مولاي الصادق في زيارة الأربعين. He said about زيارة الأربعين, my master Imam al-Sadiq said, تزور عند ارتفاع النهار. You visit where? When the day becomes higher. That means around noon time. That's the highest time on irtifa' al-nahar. So the day is rising, 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 and it has risen. Then it comes declining, declining, declining. So and irtifa' al-nahar, that means around dhuhr. And subhanallah, what reminds you of that time around dhuhr? We don't know Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari arrived at time. We don't know Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam arrived at time. But we know that Imam Hussein alayhi salatu salam's martyrdom happened around that time. Subhanallah. Imam is trying to connect the Ziyarat of Arbaeen with the day of Ashura. Imam Sadiq told me, when the day rises, read this. Assalamu ala waliyillah, and then ends. So Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Sistani Damadullah, he says this is the only riwayah of Ziyarat of Arbaeen. And it's a very small riwayah, as I mentioned. Now, which our scholars, they use it to indicate the recommendation of the visiting of Ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Now, I'll show you this simplified version. Okay, this is for that page was for Mujtahideen. Now a bit for the Hausa students. I've simplified it a bit. I'll show the simplified version. But before that, I want you to know two things. Number one, the riwayat, the hadith of recommendation. If it is proven, fine. You can make the intention of istihbab. Ya Allah, because it's mustahab, I'm achieving the nearness to you, the proximity to you through this ziyarah. What if the sanad was not complete? Then there are two approaches. Ancient school, they said thawab man balagh, or raja tasamuh fi adillat as-sunan. That means whatever recommendations where you have reached, you don't need to know the authenticity of the recommendation. Just do it and you will be rewarded. Sayyid al-Khuy Quddas al-Sirru, Sayyid al-Sistani, Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Sistani, most of the recent ones, Maraja, the top giant Maraja, they say that this rule is not been proven by authentic hadith. So it's a logical chain. How can we prove that rule? Through hadith. Are those hadith authenticated? No. So that means this rule is not authenticated about the recommendation of every doubtful narration. Is considered recommended. We can't rely. You see, I'm going to say it again once more. How can we see our ulamas? They have to prove everything. Like people, they accuse, oh, Maraja, they take out and just no. They prove it. So even this rule that every doubtful recommended act you apply based on the intention of recommended, because why? There are narrations they mention that whenever you doubt in a recommendation, make it with the intention of recommendation. I hope I'm not making you spin around or mind spin around. Okay. How did you prove? Because there are a hadith. Whoever hears the context I'm mentioning, whoever hears something is recommended and the narration was authentic, and take it. These narrations are argumented, subject to argument. These narrations by themselves, links have problem. So how can you derive a concept? Okay, our top giant Maraja, it's not my talk, I'm nothing, I'm small. So our top giant Maraja nowadays, they say, oh, our previous great ulamas, how can you derive a concept from weak narrations? Okay, if that narration was strong, khalas. So based on that, Sayyid al-Khuy said, we cannot accept that rule. Whatever recommended act reaches you when you don't not aware about the authenticity of it, consider it authentic. We cannot take. So Sayyidina, what is another route, another solution? He said, Raja al-Matlubiyya, hope of its requirement. So you're hoping, you're not saying it's authentic. You're saying, inshallah, if it is authentic, I get the reward. If not, then. So this is another route. So Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Sistani mentions that if this route is not proven, at least the general istihbab of ziyarat of Imam Hussein is proven by tawatur ahadith. So this ziyarat of Arbaeen is one of the applications. Finish. You don't need to check the sanad, because the sanad of ziyarat of Imam Hussein in general, every ziyarat, wherever, just visit Imam Hussein, that is proven by authentic narrations. So that is a general. Sorry about that. That is a general. So that is a general narration, general ziyarat of Imam Hussein. And applications can be ziyarat Ashura, ziyarat Arbaeen, ziyarat of Eid, ziyarat. All these are applications. Okay. If I tell you it is highly recommended to feed a poor, that means you can choose a Pakistani poor, you can choose an Indian poor, you can choose an Iraqi poor, you can choose an Irani poor, and you can choose an Irani, not that Lebanon, what Turkish they call Iran. So any poor is an application of that recommendation. So if let's say the sanad is not authentic, you at least have it's an application of general, which is proven, which you can do it with istihbab, with your wholeheartedly. Ya Allah, I'm doing this recommendation because there's a general recommendation. Based on that general recommendation, I'm achieving nearness to you using this one of the applications, which is Ziyarat al-Arbaeen. One of the applications of Ziyarat is Ziyarat Ashura. I'm just saying hypothetically, if it's not proven. All these, most of these ziyarat are proven. But let's say those who claim, you can slap this argument intellectually. Okay, if Ziyarat al-Arbaeen is not proven, is Ziyarat al-Imam Hussein is proven or not? Yes, it's proven. Okay, this is an application. Okay, like feed a poor. أطعم البائس الفقير. If you feed Japanese, have you implemented the obligation or recommendation? If there was a recommendation, yes, I have implemented. So when it comes to applications and implementations, it doesn't matter as long as the general recommendation or general obligation of a duty is there, which this is difficult for those people to understand who have not graduated from Hausa. So now that was if the sanad is not. So let's say if the sanad is not proven, the Sayyid Muhammad al-Radha says it's already under the banner of general recommendations of Imam Hussein. So you don't have to say Raja al-Matlubiyah here. Why? Because general ziyarat of Imam Hussein is proven by tawatur hadith. Kamil ziyarat is packed with the ziyarat. So the concept of ziyarat of Imam Hussein is proven by itself. The concept, we juice it out from all these riwayat, all these narrations. Good. Now let's come to check the sanad. Okay, Sayyidina. So can you tell us about sanad, please? Because we Hausa students, we want to know little bit about the sanad. Let's see the screen. Okay. I'll just skip to the sanad and we'll try to discuss the sanad and we'll end our session, inshallah. Okay, so if you can see on the screen, okay, we have Sheikh al-Tusi mentions that Jama'ah min Ashabina, those narrators, and from Wasa'il al-Shia to Sheikh al-Tusi, the whole sanad is there. And those are all confirmed as trustworthy scholars and narrators by Sayyid al-Khu'i and by other scholars. So let's say from Sheikh al-Tusi, okay, Sheikhna, from you till Imam al-Sadiq, who are in between you and Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam? He said, between me, if you can see, Abi Muhammad Harun ibn Musa ibn Ahmad al-Tal Akbari. Then who heard from Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Muammar, who heard from, why I have highlighted? Because Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Muammar had heard from two narrators. Okay, the reason I've highlighted, because you will understand. Okay, this is a very important thing for Hausa students. Who heard from Sa'dan ibn Muslim, who heard from Safwan ibn Mahran. The sanad finishes. How many people are there in sanad? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that when we come to the 3, there are 2 narrators. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, and 5. So the 3, they heard from 4th, 4th heard from 5th, 5th heard from Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. So let's try to check this sanad. First of all, the content. Okay, inshallah, if we have time, we'll go through the content tomorrow because our time is ran off. So I'm just going to give you so what is in the content? You people who are saying, oh, Ziyarat Arbaeen, even the content is in the line of the Quran. So what you're doing dua, Allahumma inni ashhadu. Oh Allah, I am witnessing that he's your wali. So this testimony and praising Imam Hussein. All these praises are mentioned by the hadith and other ziyarat. Then what else? Then you're saying salams to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Assalamu alayka ya ibn Rasulillah. So before the ziyarat starts with Assalamu ala waliyillah, Assalamu ala khalilillah. All these descriptions are applicable to Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. There is nothing ghulu in it. There is no attribute of Allah equal or resemble to Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. So I don't know, these people who claim ghulu, their mind have been inflated with ghulu, that everything they see is ghulu. That means extreme love of Ahlul Bayt, in a way making them equal to God. And a'udhu billah, we curse those people who consider God and Ahlul Bayt, they are equal, and they're dhati and they're equal. Then what? Then witnesses about Imam Hussein. What was Imam Hussein? Praise of Imam Hussein. Then what? Then again, back to Ziyarat. So it's a sandwich. Talking to Imam Hussein, talking to Allah. So this is Tawheed. We are, this Imam Sadiq is teaching us, you mention Imam Hussein, and don't forget to mention God, okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then again, Assalamu alayka yabna Rasulillah, back to Imam Hussein. Ashhadu, again, witnesses. One testimony I've highlighted with yellow. Second testimony, third testimony, fourth testimony, fifth testimony, sixth testimony. There are total 7 testimonies. We are giving Imam Hussein testimony that you are this and you are that and you are this. All these testimonies, nothing there is ghulu at all. No extreme exaggerations in describing Imam Hussein. And so this is tawalla. You're expressing the praise of Imam Hussein, which is the love of, out of your love. That is tawalla. And then there's tabarra. فَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ مَنْ قَتَلَكَ وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ مَنْ ظَلَمَكَ وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ مَنْ. Quran is packed with la'na. Those people, oh, how do you learn la'an? Baba, Quran taught us to do la'an. That means, oh God, deprive these people from your mercy. Like you say, oh Allah, have your mercy upon fulan. Oh Allah, take your mercy away from fulan. That is la'an. La'an is not like a bad mouthing or bad word or cursing, curse word or slandering. No, la'an is an opposite dua. Ya Allah, don't send your mercy on Yazid. Don't send your mercy on fulano, those people who hurt Imam Hussein and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. And those companions like Abu Dharr and Ammar, oh Allah, send your mercy upon them. Please be pleased with them. Radiyallah, irda anhum, all these kind of things. So this is opposite of having dua of mercy, dua of deprivation of mercy. That is tabarra. And then again, testimony. Allahumma inni ashhaduka, ushiduka anni waliyun liman walahu. That, oh God, be witness. And here in witnessing, Sayyid Munir al-Khabbaz heard from Sayyid al-Khuy, very beautiful word. Keep this in your mind. What are you doing? You are testifying for Imam Hussein. That, oh Imam, you are this, you are this, you are great, you are A, B, C, D. Sayyid al-Khuy said, when you testify for Imam Hussein, he will testify for you that you were the loyal servant of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, loyal worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You came to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and none other than Allah. And you came expressing your love to us, which Allah had commanded you. So anyhow, you testify, Imam will testify you. A testimony for a testimony. And imagine, what we need on the day of judgment is someone like Imam Hussein testifies, sinners like us, shortcomers like us, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's all what you need. So it is all testimony. Now we come to the link and we will see this link. So basically, Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Sistani says that there are 3 people we need to be concerned about, which were used against Ziyarat al-Arbaeen, that the Sanad has a problem. Who is? Number 1 is Sa'dan. I've kept them in red. Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Muhammad, and Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Mas'ada, and Sa'dan ibn Muslim. Let's see what Sayyid Muhammad Ridha says. Sayyid Muhammad Ridha says that Sa'dan ibn Muslim, which is this one, before Safwan. Remember Safwan, the camel renter? Sa'dan heard from Safwan. Safwan heard from Imam Sadiq. So what is about Sa'dan? He says Sa'dan was not declared in the book of Rijalist, the scholars of Rijal, experts, anything. No praise or no defamation. Okay, no criticism or no praise. However, he's in two criteria can authenticate it. What are these 2 criteria? These 2 principles are used in Ilm al-Rijal, those who have studied Ilm al-Rijal. And those who are going to study Ilm al-Rijal, this is good for them. Number 1, Sayyid al-Khuy Quddas's Surat sometimes said, the link of Kamilis Ziyarat are all authentic. Anyone, Ibn Qawlaway says, I had Fulan, Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu. He says, all this chain of narrators, okay, they are all authentic. Why? Because Sayyid al-Khuy understood from Ibn Qawlaway that kind of testimony, which is then he changed his mind and all those kind of things. So this is one of the principles our previous ulamas used to use. If you don't know anything about a narrator, if he was not found in any of the Rijali books, but you found him in the link of Kamil Ziyarat, perfect, check him, okay. So that is one okay. That's why I kept highlighted in light blue. Okay. What is another principle used? the teachers of Ibn Abi Umair. Muhammad ibn Abi Umair, he was a trustworthy narrator, Ibn Abi Umair. Okay, he was a trustworthy narrator. He was one of the authors of three unlinked narrations, which ulamas previously they used to authenticate. Why? Because Muhammad ibn Abi Umair, he was an excellent, trustworthy companion of one of our Imams, alayhi salatu wasalam. So Muhammad ibn Abi Umair, teachers of Muhammad ibn Abi Umair, because Ibn Abi Umair is trustworthy. So that means his teachers have to be trustworthy, because this is a guy who will never take from wrong people. He will always take from trustworthy. Okay, so whenever we find a narration, we don't know about the narrator, anything. If he was teacher of Ibn Abi Umair, check him, tick, yes, authentic. So we have two factors to authenticate Sa'dan ibn Muslim. Because Najashi did not declare him, Tusi did not declare him, he's not declared by Kashi. So what should we do? So there are principles we apply. Two of those principles are, if he was in the link of Kamil Ziarat, take him okay. Or if he was master of Ibn Abi Umair, teacher of Ibn Abi Umair, take him okay. Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Sistani says, for me, I would rely on mastership of Ibn Abi Umair. But link of Kamil Ziarat, no. So Sayyid al-Khuy also changed his mind at the end of the life. This was once upon a time a principle used to authenticate the hadith. So let's say if this was if the mastership of Ibn Abi Umair was not there, this hadith would have been interrupted because an unknown person. However, Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Sistani says mastership of Ibn Abi Umair. So he was the teacher of Ibn Umair, and Ibn Abi Umair would never choose an unreliable teacher. So this is a testimony of Ibn Abi Umair, indirect testimony, that Sa'dan ibn Muslim was my teacher, he was trustworthy, indirect testimony. See how this ijtihad work. This is deep, heavy loaded work here. Okay, trying to apply principles of ilm al-rijal. Perfect. Sa'dan ibn Muslim, perfect. Okay, then who's next? Next is Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Muammar, who at-Al-Akbari, he narrated from Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Muammar. Okay, those who are on Facebook, they would like to follow the screen, they can go to YouTube and check out, because the YouTubers, they can see the screen of the narrators I have presented. So what about it? He says again, the narrators did not declare anything. They did not say it's bad, they did not say it's good. So what should we do? So, but Ibn Nadim mentioned in his Fahras, it's an encyclopedia of the narrators, that he was from the scholars of Shia, fuqaha of Shia, wa muhaddithihim, the one who narrated their hadith, wa ulama'ihim, and from their scholars, and he was famous in his time. And so he has a status, lofty status. If he was not a trustworthy scholar, people would not have taken him and considered him, his popularity would have gone drained. Because once somebody has black mark, you see, and he's a top guy, he falls down soon. So Sayyid Muhammad Ridha says that since he was a famous, not scholar, famous scholar, that means his words were accepted by the people of their time, by the mu'mineen of their time. What does that indicate? That indirectly indicates that he was trustworthy. Otherwise, people would not have relied on him. Otherwise, he would not have become so famous and so popular. So that is indirect indication of his trustworthiness. Good, Sayyid Muhammad Ridha. Thank you so much. So now, this is those who have not studied properly Hausa, they don't get this kind of, they don't try to do this kind of depth and analysis. Okay, so two narrators done. What about this Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Mas'ad? Here we have a technical thing and we are done. So what is this technical thing? Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Mas'ad, okay, so Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Muammar narrated from this, see this harf wow, whenever you see in the narration, there's wow, that means two people are narrating from Sa'dan ibn Muslim. and Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Muammar heard from two people. So these two people are sandwiched between 1 and 3. Okay, the 1 read and the 3 read. So these two are in the middle. So what does that mean? That means if one of two is authenticated, then you don't need to discuss about the second one. So Sayyid Muhammad Ridha Sistani says, Ali bin Muhammad ibn Mas'ada, we don't need to discuss about him, or we don't need to talk about him. Why? Because the one who narrates with him, the partner, or the one who narrated also the same narration, is Al-Hasan ibn Ali ibn Faddal. The sons of Faddal are authenticated by the majority of the top rijalist. Once Ibn Faddal is there, finish. His narration is authentic. So at the end, the conclusion of Sayyid Muhammad Ridha, he says, فَالْمُتَّجَهْ الْبِنَاء عَلَى تَمَامِيَةِ سَنَدِ الرِّوَايَ الْمُتَقَدِّمَةِ. He said the sanad is complete and authentic. وَإِمْكَانُ التَّعْوِيلِ عَلَيْهَا فِي الْبِنَاء. And it is possible that now we can rely on this narration to declare what, Sayyidina? على استحباب زيارة الأربعين بعنوانها. Or we can rely upon it to declare the recommendation of the ziyarat. This ziyarat was mentioned of Arbaeen with its title. Sayyidina, what do you mean by with its title? Remember I said there is a general title. If this specific title of ziyarat of Arbaeen was not proven, it is application of a general ziyarat. Any ziyarat of Imam Hussein is recommended. But he said, no, we can do this ziyarat with this specific title of ziyarat of Arbaeen. Why? Because the sanad is complete. So that is something which I needed to discuss with you. And I know it was a bit lengthy, but you Hausa students, you would like to learn these kind of deep things so that you know that our maraja are not fooling us, our maraja are not cheating us. So if Samahat Sayyid Sistani Dz tells us something, he's trustworthy, he fears God, and is precautionary marja, and he does precaution in a lot of things. If we see obligatory precaution, he will never fool us, because he has to save himself on the day of judgment. He will not be worried about me, he will be worried about himself in front of Allah more. So he's not worried about the popularity. He's worried about how he will face God. And the Maraja and Mujtahideen, whenever they describe Sayyid Sistani, they say Ayatullah al-Wara, the safeguarding, the cautious, the God-fearing Ayatullah, Sayyid Sistani Damullah. So that gives us satisfaction that these people, when they come and they create doubts against the ziyarat and against these kind of things, they don't have anything except their compound ignorance. And we wish that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides them. And we would like to end with the hadith or the narration of Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. So like this day, Atiyya narrates, and this is a historical narration. However, Imam Zainul Abidin arrived on the day of Arbaeen. Imam Zainul Abidin arrived after the day of Arbaeen, 2-3 days. And Imam Zainul Abidin arrived there, and Jabir ibn Abdullah was there still. So it's a different analytical thing. And I've proven in one of my sessions, if we look at Google Map, nowadays Google Map can help us. The maps can help us. The distances and everything can help us define the route of Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salatu wasalam. When he was captive with the Asiran, they go all the way north. They came to Syria. Coming back to Karbala is not more than a journey of 8 to 10 days. So if they were released on 30th of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, day of 40th, easily they could arrive in Karbala, because while going, it took longer time. It was torturing. They did not spend too much time, according to Ray Shahri and some other historians. It's like the maximum we can give is 1 week of time. They were there in Sham, Syria. Okay, so we have 40 days. In 40 days, we have, let's say, 1 week there, 10 days coming back, 17. So all those 22 days or whatsoever days it took them to go there and come back. And I've also discussed that it is very far away, that our Ahlul Bayt, they stayed in Sham more than those few days, because we don't have any narration. If they were there for 1 year or 6 months, it would have been a chaos there, and people would have recorded it, narrated it. But the only thing which is recorded and narrated, the incidences which happened in that prison of Sham. And though they were like few days, but they were like years and years of them being in that kind of predicament situation and horrible conditions. So Atiyah says, we went with Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. We went to visit Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. When we arrived Karbala, Jabir came to the Euphrates River and did his ghusl. And after that, he wore his clothes, and then he took some of the perfume out and sprinkled the perfume on his body. And whenever he was taking a step, he was mentioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, until he came closer to the grave. And he said, because he could not see properly, so he says, oh Atiyah, let me touch the grave. So Atiyah says, I took his hand and I made him touch the grave. So once he touches the grave of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, he loses his conscience and falls down. And then Atiyah says, then I sprinkled some water on him and he woke up. And let's be with Jabir. Let's not consider the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam as a golden. Let's consider there's a grave, and massacre had happened before 40 days. And let's picture the situation of Jabir. How does he feel? He calls, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. 3 times he called Jabir. He says, Habibun la yujibu Habiba. He says, the beloved one is not responding to beloved one. Then Jabir answers, then how could you respond, O Hussein? وَأَنَّا لَكَ بِالْجَوَابِ وَقَدْ شَطَحَتْ أَوْدَاجُكَ عَلَى أَثْبَاجِكَ وَفُرِّقَ بَيْنَ بَدَنِكَ وَرَأْسِكَ. How could you respond? And your veins are shattered, and your body is separated, your head is being separated from your body. And then he started mentioning some of the qualities of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. And then after that, the Atiyah says that, oh Jabir, we have not been with the Hussein. How can you say that we are going to be for us to be resurrected with them? He says, we have not gone any valley or up on the valley, and we did not come down, and we did not come on any mountain. We did not strike anybody with the swords. And then these people, they have been beheaded, and their bodies have been separated from their head, and their children have been orphaned, and their women have been widowed. Ya Atiyya, sama'tu habibi Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. Oh Atiyah, I heard my beloved Rasulullah say, Man ahabba qawman hushira ma'ahum. Whoever loves a people, a nation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make them, resurrect them. So my beloved mu'mineen, make sure that whom you love and whom you dissociate yourself from. وَمَنْ أَحَبَّ عَمَلَ قَوْمٍ أُشْرِكَ فِي عَمَلِهِمْ. If you love the deeds of some people, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will let you share those deeds. وَالَّذِي بَعْثَ مُحَمَّدًا صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ بِالْحَقِّ نَبِيًّا. And by the one who sent Muhammad as a prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My intention and the intention of my companion is upon whatever was the intention of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. And it is mentioned that when the Jabir was there, then the Atiyah sees that some people are coming from far away. He tells Jabir, Jabir, there are people that are coming from far away. So I'm just going to briefly mention. And Atiyah, Jabir says, oh Atiyah, let's get a cover and let's hide ourselves and just go and check out if it was my master Ali ibn al-Hussein Zain al-Abidin, then you are free. But if it is Ibn Ziyad, then we should be cautious. And after that, Atiyah observes that Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein, Zain al-Abidin, is coming with his family, the daughters of the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He comes and tells Jabir, Jabir, get up to receive, to welcome our master Ali ibn al-Hussein, Zain al-Abidin. I see them coming. Now, my beloved ones, I saw today people, they had this faces, they had blisters because of the heat of the sun which hit them. Many of the mu'mineen, they were saying that their feet had blisters because of the walk of Arbaeen. Some of them, they got sick. Some of them, they got sore throat. And all those things, they did it for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And when I told one of them that, think about Zainab alayhi salatu wassalam. Think about Zainab, think about Ruqayya, Kulthum, think about the family of Imam Hussein, the women of Imam Hussein. One of them, they told me, oh, they were used to these kind of walks. I said, no, not this long walk. When you guys walk like 80 kilometers about from Najaf to Karbala. But our lady Zainab alayha salam, and imagine you guys were wearing shoes. They were not wearing shoes, they were barefoot, and their hands were tied with ropes. And Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam had a collar on the neck. Don't tell me that they were used to. The men were used to, maybe before walking. They used to have the supplies beside them. Like when Imam Hassan alayhi salam would walk to Makkah, he would have the whole supply of water, food, and every kind of resting material with him. But when these ladies, women, they were walking, they did not know where will they sleep. Will they sleep on the ground, on the dust of the desert? When their feet were blistered, they were bleeding. And when the neck of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was bleeding, and there were times they were on camels, and there were times they were barefoot walking in these deserts. Bless the heart of Zainab alayhi salam. That is why we walk to feel a little bit of the pain of what Bibi Zainab alayhi salatu salam felt. And that is why when Zainab alayhi salam comes, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam was received by Jabir. And after some time, Imam Zainul Abidin looks, and there are women, they're on the grave of Imam Hussein. Someone is shouting, Wa Husayna. Someone is shouting, Wa Abbasa, Wa Qasima, Wa Akbara. As the day of Ashura was revived, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam is looking at this situation, a very intolerable situation. How can he stop the women from crying and grieving? Whenever on the day of Ashura they would cry, they were beaten, they were struck by lashes. Now they have their freedom to cry on the graves of their beloved ones. Wa musibatah, wa madlumah, wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayya munqalabin yanqalibun. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين والعاقبة للمتقين إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Let's do the dua and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because as the Ziarat of Arbaeen mentions, that after the Ziarat, do dua. Why should we do dua? Because Imam Hussein alayhi salatu salam's Ziarat causes the fulfillment of the dua, the fulfillment of the needs, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds, because we mentioned Imam Hussein and Allah loves Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. So tomorrow also at the noon time, when you visit Imam Hussein alayhi salam, or before noon, try to do dua and do 2 rakat, which is mentioned also in the Ziarat of Arbaeen, that after you are done with the Ziarat, pray 2 rakat and do whatever you want to do from your duas, and then you can leave the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the sake of Arbaeen alayhi salatu wassalam, by the sake of the blisters which were on the feet of Bibi Zainab, Imam Zainul Abidin, and the bleeding of the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who were dragged from streets to streets, from Karbala to Kufa, and from Kufa to Sham, and cities after cities. Some cities they were tortured, the stones were thrown upon them. A lot of pain and misery is there from Arbaeen, from Ashura till the day of Arbaeen. It was the days where they had no rest and no peace in their life, and they were crying in peace. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the ziyarat of Zuwar of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, who did the walking ziyarat or the by car or whatever ziyarat, whoever reached on the day of Arbaeen, the shine of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept their ziyarat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the sake of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, protect all our beloved Zuwar of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, and bring them to their beloved family members safe and secure with the rewards and their du'as mustajab. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us the ziyarat of Imam Hussein repeatedly from time to time. May Allah bless us the walk of Imam Hussein next year, that we are among those who walk to visit Imam Hussein, to bear the pain, little bit of the pain, maybe 1% of the pain people they suffer from, the pain, real pain, which Bibi Zainab and Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam and the women had suffered. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the sake of this day, the holy day, that to fulfill all our du'as and du'as of all the mu'min mu'minat. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive all our sins and shortcomings, and all the sins and shortcomings of all the mu'min mu'minat. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure all our sick ones, and especially the ones who have requested for du'as. They are youngsters, they are looking for spouses and wives and husbands, and they have asked me to do dua for them specially, so that they can find their the one who have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has meant for them. So may Allah bless them with pious husband for those who are our daughters, and pious wives for those who are our sons. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are people they have requested for progeny. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless them, the progeny, who would be supporters of our beloved Imam Ajjalallahu ta'ala Farajahu Sharif in his occultation and after his appearance. For those people who have any kind of difficulties and hardship, paperwork, documentation, driver's license, immigration issues, whatever issues they have, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease upon them and give them what they want. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us always with Ahlul Bayt in this world, and bless us their ziyarat in this world, their intercession in the hereafter, and forgive all our sins and shortcomings by the sake of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the appearance of our beloved Imam soon, so that we can be among those who walk for him or arrive on the day of Arbaeen and the day of Arbaeen in Kufa, so that we could give our pledge of allegiance in reality in the hand of our beloved Imam Ajjalallahu ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and all our beloved mu'min mu'minat around the world, and keep us safe and secure from every evil, every terror, every enemy, or any kind of people who are trying to make plots against us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroy their plots and destroy them under their own plots. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. And finally, we remember our marhumin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless our marhumin, your marhumin, and all the marhumin of mu'min mu'minat. We'll recite Surah Al-Fatiha for them. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. Wa akhiru da'wan alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi tayyibin al-tahirin. Recite Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.